guys. Today I'm going to go over another section of the Illuminated Letter Project. We're going to be working on the Illuminated Manuscript Sketch Letter Worksheet. So this is the first letter of your project that is going to be really the fanciest and it's going to take the most effort or work. So I'm going to read the requirement for it, and then we're going to go to the sketch worksheet and I'm going to show you how to do it. So it says the first letter of your name should be an illuminated manuscript letter. The first letter should be transformed with objective or natural images, and the first letter should include color. Oopsie. Okay, so what do I mean by that, right? Ideas for your illuminated manuscript letter. So things from nature could mean roses, flowers, trees, vines, plants, acorns, and animals. And the reason that I'm using these particular ideas like nature or objects is because that's what they used in illuminated manuscript. It could be objects that show your interests or personality, so favorite foods, sports, dance, clubs, activities, church or spiritual, favorite colors, favorite musicals, favorite books, could be favorite TV shows. It doesn't have to be things just on this list, but it needs to fit under that general category of objects or things from nature. So you don't want to be or to put anything that is copyrighted, like video game characters, cartoons. The thing with musicals and TV is a lot of that's copyrighted, so it needs to be kind of generic. Like, okay, if I liked Grey's Anatomy, I put a stethoscope, which it just represents the medical field, not necessarily putting or writing Grey's Anatomy on there. Okay, so I'm going to switch to my document camera and I'm going to show you kind of what I mean. So this is my finished example that I used last year. There's a couple of things that I want you to keep in mind that's going to be a little different on yours. So last year I used this gold leafing that we actually glued on there. And so we did that mostly because there wasn't a pandemic and we weren't trying to travel and not share things, because we did share the gold leaf. So we're not going to be using the gold leaf this semester, but if I was not social distancing, I could use that gold leaf. All right. So if you notice, the style of letters is the same on all of mine. I believe they're this style of letter that I did in my packet, as well as the first one. It kind of matches the style of letter that I did here. You don't have to perfectly match the first one to the rest of it, but definitely it needs to have some element in it that looks like it belongs with the rest of them. Because if you have a letter that's totally different, that doesn't have anything that these have, it may not look like it belongs or look correct. So you want to have something in it that makes it go together. So on mine, I transformed it using a sunflower because I love sunflowers, and a vine that I twisted around. I did watercolor palette of paint. I did a slide. I think when I did the slide, it was mostly because I thought that's what it looked like. But I could make something up on why that I, like the slide, because it's fun, because it's childlike, different things like that. And then I did a paintbrush up here and then a dove. So I'm going to show you the worksheet on how to do this. And it looks like this. Let's get it focused. It says, list 5 or more objects or elements from nature. So remember, I have that list for you to look at so that you can get help, that you would like to include in your illuminated letter, the first letter of your project. See the ideas for the illuminated manuscript letter page for ideas. And I have the Google link in case you're doing this online. If you don't have this sketch worksheet at your house because you don't have a printer, again, it's not a big deal. Use a blank piece of paper and you can easily create this worksheet or a sketch on a blank piece of paper. So I listed so far, you have to have at least 5, but you can have more. A sunflower, a paint palette, a dove, a paintbrush, a twisted vine. I would probably do something with books because I love to read. So something with books, and then maybe, I don't know if I could do like favorite foods. I have favorite colors, which is yellow. I'll just go with books for now. All right, so it says create your sketch for the illuminated letter here. So essentially, I'm wanting to draw a rough draft of what my first letter is going to look like on my project. Now, I said you do not have to draw your illuminated letter in the style of the other letters that you were doing, but it doesn't hurt because then it kind of helps you figure out how you're going to transform the letter. So if I was going to do, I don't even know if there's a K on here. How about that? LMNOPHIJ. Oh, this is the K. That's weird looking. Okay. So I'm going to draw an outline and I'm going to go around it. And like I said, you don't have to do it this way, but it's an option. Get my big eraser out because big eraser for bigger problems. Okay. And then I'm going to try to draw what I see here. And this is going to take a little time. I mean, again, I may not get this right on the first time. And then it goes up. I can hear y'all in the background going, yeah, she does get it right on the first time. I don't know what she's talking about, even though I'm not even there. So I'm looking at the basic shapes and trying to figure out, okay, how can I draw this? And remember, this is a sketch, but I want to make this nice enough where I could go to my real project and have it work. Okay. And then there's like a vertical line that goes through here. There's a twisty that goes through here. And there's like a vine goes through here. And it got a little cut off because this. Okay, so this basically gives me my outline in the style of the letter. I can just start with a block letter. I don't have to start with this style, but I like to do it because I feel like then it matches the rest of my letters and I don't have to worry about that. All right, so then I'm going to start transforming it. And I'm going to look at the letter and I'm going to say, all right, I have a sunflower. Where could I put a sunflower on this picture? Well, a sunflower is going to take a lot of room. Originally, I thought, well, I could do it in the middle, and I still could do it in the middle. I could do it on the end of one of these vines. But remember, I need to somehow transform this letter. So I'll do it differently this time. It may work, it may not. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say, well, I'm going to put the sunflower I'm going to make this a petal, turn it into a leaf. So I'll erase this, turn this into a sunflower petal of some sort. And I would look off the internet when you're drawing this, so I know I'm doing it out of my head so that it works quicker with the video. But if I was you, I would do this off of the internet. So then I could say, well, I'm going to put the sunflower right here. And I'm going to draw the circle. And a sunflower actually has a really wide stem. They're extremely heavy. Then I would go through and I would add all of the petals of my sunflower. And I would do whatever details that I felt like would be important. Now, yeah, you don't have to make this perfect, but you do need to get a plan before you go to the project. So let's pretend I did all that. So it's like, okay, there's a sunflower. All right, a paint palette. Where could I put a paint palette? So a paint palette could be circular. It could be vertical like I did. So let's say I turn this, it could also be a rectangle. So let's say I turn this part of the K and I'm going to make like a rectangle paint palette. And I'm going to put different, it almost looks like a makeup paint palette or a domino. I could change it, but let's just pretend. Okay, then I could put a dove. So I would definitely look off the internet if I was drawing a dove. I could make it landing here. I could make this like, okay, this is a tree and this is the center of a tree, like a stump. And there was a dove sitting out here on the tree. I would not make it look like that, but it's just the point of trying to get it quickly in the video. Then I could make the outside texture. So when you're done though, you have to have at least 5 things on your illuminated letter. This is the finished one that I had, and you would add color. So once you get this done, I would take my colored pencils and I would just do a little bit of color on this. It doesn't need to be like professional quality, but I want you to get some ideas of maybe the colors that you're gonna do. That way, if it doesn't look right, you can fix it before you actually go to the real drawing. So just get an idea of what colors you want to use, especially, if you're using your own colored pencils, which you should be. That way you have an idea of what looks good. Okay, when you're done with this, you can start measuring the big paper.